Where was I going with this? Oh my god. Hey scribblers, welcome back to my channel. How's everything going? March, good, great. Have a good St. Patty's? Yeah? Alright. Today's video is 5 things that I've learned as a writer. I have been writing off and on my entire life, but the most I've taken it seriously is the past 5 or so years. So I figured, why not do a video on what I've learned? So here we go. First, you learn to have some patience. When you're first starting out as a writer, you get that first draft done, you're like, oh my gosh, I finished the novel, this is great, I can go on to the next step. Everything's going to go really quick after that. Then you get into the editing phase of your novel and you realize you gotta wait for the beta readers or CPs or both, whichever you decide to go on. Then you gotta go back to the edits, do it again, and then when you finally decide to put your novel out there, whether you're querying it or you are self-publishing, you're still waiting for reviews and readers and or agents to reply back to you. You learn that it's a very, very long waiting game, and you learn to have some patience. I have definitely learned that the best way to get through any waiting period with the story is to just move on to the next project and cross your fingers and hope for the best. Yes, lots and lots of waiting, lots and lots of patience, but it is all worth it in the end, especially when you finally get that perfect story or you get that perfect review and you realize that all of your dreams have come true. Cliche, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Number 2, perfectionism goes out the window. Now, I am not a perfectionist. I have never been absolutely 100% a perfectionist, but when I was writing my first novel, I was determined to make it absolutely perfect. There was going to be no mistakes, there was going to be nothing. It was, no matter how many rounds of rereading and editing I did, it was going to be absolutely perfect. Let me tell you, I am 4 or 5 drafts into this story. I've had beta readers, CPs, multiple people read it, and I will read it, and I am currently in the querying phase where I am querying the story, and every time that I go to read the pages that I'm sending to these agents, I find things that I want to fix. And it's not so much changing the plot or changing the story or changing the characters, it's little things that I want to tweak. This sentence could sound a little bit better, this sentence could work a little more, that comma could be somewhere else entirely. It doesn't seem to matter. I want to nitpick this thing, and I'm realizing as I've listened to other authors and writers that you can nitpick all you want with your stories, but in the end they are never going to be perfect to you. To somebody else, to other readers, they may come out perfect, but to you, it's never going to happen. You're always going to find something. There's always going to be that one little thing that's going to bug you. And so you just have to kind of let it go and realize that perfectionism in writing goes out the window. It's never going to be 100%. Just the way it is. Number 3, you have to push yourself. When you're first starting out as a writer and you're doing this kind of in your free time, you realize that you don't have a deadline. You don't have anybody on your back, unless it's like a best friend or something, so they're going, I want your story, I want your story, but otherwise you don't really have anybody pushing you, forcing you. I mean, it's not like a regular 9-to-5 job where if you show up there's consequences. If you don't write, you don't write. That's just the end of it. So you have to push yourself. You have to want something to happen. If you want to turn this into a career, if you want to start making this an everyday lifestyle for you, you have to push yourself to do the work. You have to put yourself out there. You have to talk to people. You have to reach out to people. You have to make connections. So many things that, for me, talking to people putting my face on a camera, sending my work out to people to be read and judged and critiqued. It's hard. It is hard. It's even now after 2 years on YouTube, I still get that little anxiety when I have to put click. When I have to find beta readers or CPs, I'm still sitting there going, oh God, I really don't want to do this. Making a phone call because my internet goes out is hard. If you want anything done, if you want it to be done, if you want your work to be out there, if you want people to read it and enjoy it, and you have to push yourself, you have to make your own deadlines, you have to get up the courage and write that email, write that query, make that phone call, just whatever it is in life, you have to push yourself to do it in order for it to get done. Number 4, you learn to expect the worst. I don't know if this is everybody, but for me, I definitely have learned to expect the worst in my writing. I finished the first draft and I know it's the worst thing I've ever written and I'm never going to look at it again. I start sending it out to beta readers and they hate me. They hate it and they're going to never want to talk to me again, seeking an editor or an agent. And they realize that you're a complete fraud and they're going to put a big red warning label all over your name. This isn't true, of course. If you're just downright hateful or do something seriously stupid, then yeah, people are going to talk and they're going to be like, hey, watch out for this person. But for the most part, it's not that bad. You get a rejection letter, okay, fine, you move on, you find another person to send your query to. You send your story out to a beta reader and they don't like it, okay, fine, it wasn't their cup of tea, but another person may be like, oh my gosh, this is one of the best things I've read, here's how you'd make it better. First draft, you start reading it and you find the little tidbits, you're like, oh, that's not so bad, this isn't so horrible, I could do this, I could fix this, I could make it better. But when you're first starting and any new project or any new thing, you always expect the worst. It's just the way I am. I'm sure there's other people out there that do the same thing. And it's that little nagging voice in the back of your head going, oh my God, what are you doing? It's that imposter syndrome seeping into you. And you really just have to shut it off and tell him to go away, maybe lock him in a box somewhere, and listen to other people. Take advice. If you're finding that, take the advice that's given to you, mold it into something that you can use, and things really won't be that bad. Number 5, writing isn't as solitary as it seems. And what I mean by this is, yes, you are writing the story yourself, the characters, the place, everything is happening inside your head and it's going onto the computer or the notebook or wherever, and that is by yourself. But there is a whole community of writers and people out there that are going through the same thing you have. They've either been through it, they're going through it, or they're going to go through it again. It's refreshing. It's relieving even to know that you're not crazy. You're not as crazy as you seem anyways when you say the characters are not behaving today, or when you're staring at a blank wall for 30 minutes doing nothing and your husband is like, I thought you were working. You're like, I am. You're staring at a wall. You're working. It doesn't sound as crazy because there are other people who can relate to you. They know exactly what you're going through. And it's, again, putting yourself out there, getting to know people, talking to them, and joining the communities. They are all over on Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, whatever your preference is, they're there. Yes, you just go and find them. And so that is it. Those are the 5 things I've learned as a writer. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more videos. I try to do at least 2 a month. Sometimes I fail. I'm human after all. And until next time, bye.